Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This video is about carcinogenesis. These are the references for this video. Various agents have been implicated in causing cancer. These are viruses, bacteria, chemicals, metals, and physical agents. Diet is also linked with various forms of the cancer, and chronic inflammation is also implicated in cancer etiology. There is exposure to some factors or agents in the workplace that is also associated with cancer development. The viruses have been implicated in the development of the cancer. The viral infections are responsible for about 15% of the human cancer. There is some strong association between some type of the viruses with some tumors, such as the human T-cell leukemia virus type 1, that is RNA retrovirus, is associated with T-cell lymphoma and leukemia. Hepatitis B virus, that is DNA virus, and hepatitis C virus, that is RNA virus, are associated with primary hepatocellular carcinoma. The human papilloma virus, that is a DNA virus, is associated with some epithelial malignancies such as carcinoma cervix, anus, vulva, and oropharyngeal cancer. Epstein-Barr virus, that is a DNA virus, is associated with certain form of lymphoma and nasopharyngeal carcinoma. The human herpes virus 8, that is a DNA virus, is associated with Kaposi sarcoma. The human papilloma virus, hepatitis B virus, and hepatitis C virus together they comprise of about 80% of all viral cancers. Human T-cell leukemia virus type 1 is lymphotropic. That means that this virus is attracted to the lymphocytes. It is a RNA retrovirus which results or develop rare adult T-cell leukemia. This virus is endemic in southern Japan, Caribbean Basin, Southern America, and some cases, sporadic cases, have also been reported. 15 to 20 million people have been infected worldwide, and this virus is transmitted through sexual intercourse, transfusion of the blood products, or breastfeeding. HTLV1 is tropic for CD4 T lymphocyte, and it is associated with a number of neurological disorders. 3 to 5% of the people who got this infection with this HTLV1 virus develop leukemia after a latency period of about 40 to 60 years. There is another variant of this, that is HTLV2, and it is associated with few cases of lymphoproliferative disorders. The HTLV genome contains no known oncogene. They do not integrate into the host DNA, but what they do, they have got some transcription factor that increases the replicative activity of the host through these transcriptional factor. However, in the leukemic cell, the site of viral integration in host chromosome is random. The viral DNA is found at different locations in different cancers, and the site of integration is identical within all cells of a given cancer. HTLV1 genome, it contains GAG, POL, and long terminal repeat region genes, and this is typical of all retroviruses. In addition to these, it has got TEX and HBZ gene. This TEX gene is essential for viral replication, and it is the initiator of the carcinogenic event. Further elements are necessary for the development of carcinogenesis for cancer. This TEX gene also stimulates transcription of viral RNA from the 5 and long terminal repeat. HBZ is a transcription factor. Both these, the TEX and HBZ protein, in turn, they alter the transcription of host cell gene. They activate nuclear factor kappa B and interleukin 2 receptor, hence increase the replicative activity of the cells, host cells, and they also down regulate the cell cycle control protein P16-INK4A and P53. They also interact with certain host signaling proteins, and they acquire the hallmarks of the cancer through unknown mechanism, but the proposed mechanism for the acquisition of cancer hallmarks are effect on intracellular signals that regulate growth and survival, induction of genomic instability, and inhibition of senescence, which after a latency period of 40 to 60 years result in tumor. 70 to 85% of the hepatocellular carcinoma are associated with hepatitis B or hepatitis C infections, and these hepatitis infections are endemic in Far East, South Asia, and Africa. The mechanism of carcinogenicity is of these hepatitis B virus is that there is a chronic viral infection that through immunologically mediated chronic inflammation leads to death of hepatocyte, and simultaneously there is compensatory hepatocytic proliferation, and with the death and compensatory hepatocyte proliferation there is genomic damage. The mechanism of these immunologically mediated chronic inflammation is that due to this immunologically mediated chronic inflammation, there is cornucopia of growth factor, cytokine, chemokine, and other bioactive substances in that milieu that promote cell survival, tissue remodeling, and angiogenesis. Also, there is release of reactive oxygen species. These reactive oxygen species and other factors, they are genotoxic or mutagenic. One of these steps for the development of cancer or acquisition of the immortality is through the activation of nuclear factor kappa B pathway that blocks apoptosis, and due to blockage of the apoptosis there is accumulation, the cell is survived, and there is accumulation of mutation. Beside this mechanism, there is another gene in the hepatitis B virus that is named as HBX gene, and it directly promotes cancer development through activation of the transcription factor and signal transduction pathways. There is another mechanism that this viral genome is integrated into the host genome, and it induces structural changes within the chromosome, and due to these structural changes there is dysregulation of the oncogene and tumor suppressor gene. Although there is no consistent pattern of integration in hepatocyte is seen. the hepatitis C virus is a RNA virus, and it is not directly oncogenic. It has got a latency period of more than 20 years, and the hepatocellular carcinoma develops in context of cirrhosis and chronic liver injury. Expression of the hepatitis C virus core protein has direct effect on tumorigenesis by activating a variety of growth promoting signal transduction pathways, and one of the HCV non-structural protein activate nuclear factor kappa B. That is another mechanism for the development of the hepatocellular carcinoma. 4 DNA viruses: human papilloma virus, Epstein-Barr virus, hepatitis B virus, and human herpes virus 8 are linked with the development of cancers in humans. An oncogene is any gene that causes cancer, while proto-oncogene are normal genes that help cell grow. The transforming gene of oncogenic DNA virus exhibit virtually no homology with cellular genes, but those of animal RNA retroviruses are derived from and are homologous with their cellular counterparts. Oncogenic DNA viruses, they have got genes that encode protein products. These protein products, they bind to and inactivate the products of the tumor suppressor genes such as RB and P53 genes, and due to blockage of these tumor suppressor genes product, the proliferative activity continues, or damaging or cell survival is increased, and apoptosis is decreased, and replication is also increased. The human papilloma virus induces lesion that subsequently may lead to the development of squamous cell carcinoma. There are 140 strains of human papilloma virus, and they exhibit epithelial cell tropism because the full productive life cycle occur only within the squamous cells. The benign lesions by these human papilloma viruses are wart, laryngeal papilloma, and condylomata acuminata. The type 6 and 11 are associated with laryngeal papilloma and condylomata acuminata. There is occasional malignant transformation to the squamous cell carcinoma also, and the wart is a benign lesion that is due to type 1, 2, 4 and 7, and it is associated with epidermodysplasia verruciformis, which is initially a benign flat wart, and it subsequently may lead to the development of squamous cell carcinoma. The malignant lesions affect head and neck region and cervix uteri region and lung region. The human papilloma virus type 16 is associated with the squamous cell carcinoma of the tonsils and oropharynx, while cervix uteri is associated with 20 types of the human papilloma virus. The commonest types among these are type 16 and 18. The 6% of the lung cancer in smokers are linked with the human papilloma virus. So, what is responsible for malignancy and benignicity of this human papilloma virus? The benign form of the human papilloma virus, the genome is maintained in a non-integrated episomal forms. This episome is a segment of DNA that can exist either autonomously into the cytoplasm or as a part of a chromosome. The viral genes, they float in the cytoplasm or in the nucleus as distinct object as linear or lariat form. While in the malignant forms, these viral genome integrated into the host genome, and the pattern of integration is clonal and random. This integration leads to the interruption of the viral DNA within the E1 and E2 open reading frame, which results in loss of E2 viral repressor, and due to loss of E2 viral repressor, there is increased expression of E6 and E7 genes, and these are responsible for HPV oncogenic potential. The oncoprotein disturbs cell cycle, and they result in the acquisition of the malignant characteristic by different mechanism. E5, E6 and E7 proteins are responsible. E5 activates epidermal growth factor receptor, while the E6 bind to the p53 and targets it for degradation. That stimulates the expression of telomerase reverse transcriptase or TERT, which is the catalytic subunit of telomerase and contribute to the immortalization of the cell. And it promotes the tumor development also via other mechanisms that are independent of p53. Both these p53 dependent and p53 independent mechanism contribute to the immortalization of the cell. While E6 has effect that E7 protein, oncoprotein, has effect that complement those of E6, and it binds to RB. Thus, it releases its inhibitory effect and on E2F transcriptional activity that allows the cell cycle progression from G1 S cell cycle checkpoint. The E7 also inactivate the CDK inhibitors such as P21 and P27. Some of the human papilloma virus, especially the type 18, 16 and 31 that are associated with the malignant more invasive patterns, they bind and activate cyclin A and D. No such activity of the E6 and E7 is seen in benign strains. The high-risk human papilloma viruses, they inactivate tumor suppressors, they activate cyclins, and they inhibit apoptosis. They also combat with cellular senescence. All these are the hallmarks of the cancer. The infection only is not sufficient for the carcinogenesis. When there is in vitro transfection of the human epithelial cell by HPV 16 and 18, it attains immortalization, but it doesn't lead to the malignant transformation. While when these are co-transfected by a mutated RAS gene, there is the malignant transformation. So some other factors are also responsible for the malignancy or transformation into the malignancy. These the environmental factors that are associated with the high risk group are cigarette smoking, coexisting microbial infection, dietary deficiencies and hormonal changes. Large number of the women, they clear the infection by immunologic mechanism, but some fail to do so, especially when acquired immunogenic abnormalities are there. This diagram is showing the effect of human papilloma virus protein E6 and E7 on the cell cycle. The human papilloma virus E6 protein expresses the telomerase reverse transcriptase enzyme that increases telomerase expression. It also blocks the p53 protein, and it also results in the degradation of that p53. The E7 protein directly it blocks RB and degrade the RB protein, and also this E7 protein inhibit P21, and due to P21 inhibition there is increase in cyclin D and cyclin dependent kinases, which lead to the inhibition of the RB. So through these mechanisms the cell attain immortalization, increased proliferative capacity and genomic stability, which result in their morphology and behavior. The Epstein-Barr virus belongs to herpes virus family, and it's the first virus linked to the tumor, that is the Burkitt's lymphoma. This virus, the Epstein-Barr virus, has now been linked with various lymphomas, carcinomas and sarcomas. The commonest among these tumors are B-cell lymphomas and nasopharyngeal carcinoma. The Epstein-Barr virus has got a glycoprotein that binds with the CD21 receptor on the B cells, and the EBV proteins are expressed in latently infected B cell. Latency of infection means that there is no replication of the virus and there is no cell death, but the virus is present over there. This virus is transmitted through saliva, and this process of the latency initially it occurs in the B cells of the tonsils. Like most of the virus do, there is hijacking of the several normal signaling pathways by this virus and the viral products. The one of the important one is the latent membrane protein that behaves like an active CD40 receptor, a key recipient of helper T cell signal that stimulate B cell growth. This receptor is constitutively active and it stimulates the beta cell growth, B cell growth, and this growth simultaneously there is activation of nuclear factor kappa B and JAK state signaling pathway. So this will lead to the autonomous B cell survival and proliferation. Simultaneously, these latent membrane protein also activate BCL2 that prevent apoptosis. There is another gene, that is EBNA2 gene, that encodes a nuclear protein and it mimics a constitutively active Notch receptor. This process transactivates several host genes such as cyclin D gene and SRC family of proto-oncogene that are responsible for growth. Another gene encoding viral interleukin 10, and they suppress T cell by macrophages. The activity of the viral protein is controlled by the CTLs. These are the cytotoxic T lymphocytes, and during effective response the person remains asymptomatic and develops a self-limited episodes of infection mononucleosis. If this T cell immunity is defective, the B cell form or develop a progressively fatal lymphoma. So we can summarize that Epstein-Barr virus is a herpes virus that is disseminated widely, and 95% of the people they have developed the antibodies to these Epstein-Barr virus. The B cell is proliferated, and there is a lymphoblastoid activity of these B cells, and it may result in infectious mononucleosis, that is a short-lived benign lymphoproliferative disorder, and it also results in cancers. There are various Epstein-Barr virus genes that are Epstein-Barr nuclear antigen, then the EBV RNA, latency associated membrane protein LMPs, and microRNA. The EBV RNAs are untranslated nuclear EBV RNAs that are ABR1 and ABR2, and the LMPs are related with the these there are many types of these LMPs, 1, 2 and 3, and we have seen already the interaction of these LMPs as they activate nuclear factor kappa B and other cellular signal transduction pathway, and they are associated with a specific tumor, like the latency type 1 is associated with a different type of human malignancy, and the LMP2 is associated with a different type of the malignancy. So there is different association with the human malignancies. There are about 40 microRNAs that are present. Some activate and some repress specific cellular genes. The Burkitt's lymphoma is the first human cancer that was linked to a virus, and this virus was Epstein-Barr virus. It was described by Dennis Burkitt in 1958, who recognized a childhood lymphoma in Equatorial Africa, and this Burkitt's lymphoma is endemic in Central Africa and New Guinea. However, the sporadic cases also occur. So there are two forms of this disease. One is the African Burkitt's lymphoma and another is non-African Burkitt's lymphoma. The African variety almost invariably shows the presence of Epstein-Barr virus related antigen, while in non-African Burkitt's lymphoma only about 20% of the tumors show Epstein-Barr virus evidence. Why this tumor is localized to the equatorial Africa. So as we know that Epstein-Barr virus stimulates B cells, and they colonize there. They are responsible for inhibition of apoptosis, and they activate cellular proliferation by hijacking the signal transduction pathways, and this effect of their proliferation is inhibited by an effective T cell response. As in this area there is chronic malarial infection endemicity, and this chronic malarial infection is associated with a defective T cell response. It will lead to the multiplication of these B cells, and multiplication will invite further genetic changes. One of the important genetic changes is the c-MYC translocation into proximity of an Ig promoter, that is translocation 8 to 14. This picture is summarizing the events during the pathogenesis of in Burkitt's lymphoma, which is associated with Epstein-Barr virus. These lymphocytes, they have got the attached Epstein-Barr virus, and in the presence of effective cytotoxic T cell immunity, the Epstein-Barr virus specific cytotoxic T cells are responsible for B cell killing, and this B cell killing by cytotoxic T lymphocyte will control the growth of the B cells. While if this T cell immunity is impaired, there is polyclonal B cell expansion, and these polyclonal B cell expansion will result in DNA breaks and will result in MYC translocation mutation, that is between the 8 and 14 chromosome, and there is development or secretion of increased MYC protein, and subsequently the cells may acquire additional mutations, and they result in outgrowth of neoplastic clone or Burkitt lymphoma. The nasopharyngeal carcinoma is a variant of squamous cell carcinoma, and it is common in China, parts of Africa, and the Inuit, that are the inhabitants of Arctic region of Greenland, Canada, and Alaska. The Epstein-Barr virus DNA and Epstein-Barr nuclear antigens are present in virtually all cases. The antibody titer for the viral capsid antigen is uniformly elevated, and the epithelial cells may be exposed to this virus via infected lymphocytes. They are traveling through the lymphoid-rich epithelium. The LMP1 is expressed in nasopharyngeal carcinoma cell as in B cells, and it activates the nuclear factor kappa B pathway, and this will upregulate the expression of factors such as vascular endothelial growth factor, fibroblast growth factor 2, matrix metalloproteases 9, and COX2. All these factor expression will result in oncogenesis. The prominent infiltrates of the T cell, which may be responding to viral antigen, that is the latent membrane protein 1, this response is ineffective. That suggests that the immune evasion mechanism are likely to be important in this cancer. These tumor cells, they express the immune checkpoint molecule PDL1, that is programmed death ligand 1. This programmed death ligand 1, it neutralizes the programmed death receptor of the immune cells, and these tumors are responsive to the PDL1 inhibitor. Similar tumors are seen in stomach and thymus, and 70% of these nasopharyngeal carcinoma are cured by radiation therapy alone. The other tumors are also linked with the Epstein-Barr virus. These are the Hodgkin lymphoma. In 50% of the Hodgkin classic lymphoma are associated with the Epstein-Barr virus, and these viruses infect the Reed-Sternberg cell, that the characteristic cell of the Hodgkin lymphoma. The other tumors are T cell and natural killer cell lymphomas that are present occasionally, and 5% of the cases are of gastric carcinoma. The polyclonal lymphoproliferation in immunodeficiency states are also another association with the Epstein-Barr virus, and these are present 30 to 50 fold in the renal transplant recipients. Almost all immunodeficiencies, the congenital or acquired, are associated with the Epstein-Barr virus. They occur at multiple sites and within extranodal tissues also, such as gut and CNS. They express the latent membrane protein and Epstein-Barr nuclear antigen 2, and they lack MYC translocation. Occasionally, there is presence of a monoclonal lymphoma within a background of EBV-induced lymphoproliferative disorder. The human herpes virus 8 is also named as Kaposi sarcoma herpes virus because it is associated with Kaposi sarcoma. It is present in all cases of Kaposi sarcoma, and it is present in elderly men in Eastern Europe and Sub-Saharan Africa. 6% of the population in the United States and 50 to 60% in the Sub-Saharan Africa are positive for these human herpes virus 8, but only a minute number of the individuals is affected by this Kaposi sarcoma. So it is postulated that with the human herpes virus 8, there should be some cofactor for the establishment or development of this Kaposi sarcoma. This is associated with acquired immunodeficiency syndrome or AIDS. It infects the spindle cells of the Kaposi sarcoma, and also it is a lymphotropic virus. So the other two lesions produced by the human herpes virus 8 are primary effusion lymphoma and multicentric Castleman disease. The viral proteins are produced by the viral genome, and
These viral protein interfere with the p53 and RB pathway, and they also inhibit apoptosis and act in multiple ways to accelerate cell cycle transit. The viral proteins, some of the viral proteins act as inhibitor of the normal regulator of nuclear factor kappa B. So there is unrestrained activation of nuclear factor kappa B. The Merkel cell polyoma virus is another virus that is responsible for distinct rare skin carcinoma, that is Merkel cell carcinoma, and this viral genome is present in 70% of the tumors, but it is seen that the Merkel cell virus this virus is widespread in the general population, but only a small number of the cases are seen. So there should be some contributing factor for the development of this lesion. And there is another virus, that is SV40, that is tumorigenic in rodents, but there is no data that supports its oncogenesis for the human. Helicobacter pylori is first bacterial carcinogen, and it is linked with gastric adenocarcinoma and gastric lymphoma. The development of the adenocarcinoma is similar to the process as happens in the viral hepatitis, where there is the proliferation of the cell in a chronic inflammatory background due to presence of numerous cytokines and growth factor in that environment. There is a pathogenicity island in the genome of the H. pylori, that is cytotoxin associated A gene, in which that is present in this pathogenicity island, and this gene penetrate into the gastric epithelial cell and start or initiate a signal cascade which mimics unregulated growth factor stimulation. There is first development of chronic gastritis, which subsequently, if not treated, lead to gastric atrophy. There is development of metaplasia, that is intestinal type of the metaplasia. If not treated within time, this condition then changes to the formation of dysplasia, and finally cancer develop, that is in about 3% of the infected person. The Helicobacter pylori are associated with gastric lymphoma of B cell origin, and the development of these gastric lymphoma, these are dependent on strain specific H. pylori factor and host genetic factors such as polymorphism in the promoter of inflammatory cytokines such as interleukin 1 and TNF. When there is infection by H. pylori, there is presence or appearance of the H. pylori reactive T cells. When these reactive T cells appear, there is polyclonal B cell proliferation, and due to unknown mutation, they have got a growth advantage that result in monoclonal maltoma formation, mucosa associated lymphoid tissue formation. This monoclonal maltoma is dependent on T cell stimulation of the B cell pathways that activate the transcription factor nuclear factor kappa B. If at this stage the infective agent, the H. pylori, is eradicated, there is complete cure by this entity. But if it is not eradicated, there is achievement of more additional mutations that will result in constitutive activation of nuclear factor kappa B, that will result in the development of maltoma.
The role of the chemicals in the development of the cancer or carcinogenesis got attention about 2 centuries ago However, the association of the cancer with the occupation was already noticed as the nuns were predisposed to breast cancer. The physician that was British in origin, Sir Percival Pott, he established the link with the soot and cancer of the scrotum in chimney sweeps. Currently we also know that the lung cancers are more common and in cigarette smokers, and there is established cause and effect relationship. The experimental production of the cancer by chemicals was done in 1950 in Japan, where the skin cancers were produced in rabbits with coal tar, and it was noted that many potent carcinogens are inert in terms of chemical reactivity, and this fact was established in 1960 that most chemical carcinogens require metabolic activation before they can react with cellular constituents. Ames test was established in 1970, which is in vitro assay using Salmonella organism for screening potential chemical carcinogens, while now genotoxicity assays are also used to screen chemicals and new drugs for potential carcinogenicity. The exposure to a chemical and development of the cancer were traditionally studied by epidemiological data, but the disadvantages for this are dose uncertainty, population variability, latency of the exposed chemical, and accuracy of the record. Then animal studies, which are the legal requirement for new drugs, were used, but these are expensive as there are millions of molecules to be tested. The mutagen is an agent or chemical that changes the constitution or the makeup of a cell, genetic makeup of a cell, and to assess this mutagenicity, there should be some rapid, reproducible, and reliable screening assay. Ames test was established in 1970, which uses Salmonella species for the detection of the mutations, and now the cultured human cells for in vitro mutagenicity assays are done. A single application of a chemical agent or carcinogen does not produce the cancer, but repeated exposure to the chemical may lead to the development of cancer. So this chemical carcinogenesis is a multi-step process in which four steps are involved. One is the initiation, promotion, progression, and cancer development. During the initiation phase, a mutation in a single cell is developed, and in promotion there is clonal expansion of the initiated cell, in which the mutation has conferred to the cell a growth advantage. The altered cell remains dependent on the continued presence of the promoting stimulus during the promotion. This stimulus can be exogenous or endogenous. The exogenous can be chemical or physical agent, or endogenous mechanism may be hormonal stimulation, as happens in breast and prostate, or effects of bile salt, such as in colon. During progression, the growth becomes autonomous. By this time, the cell have accumulated sufficient mutation to acquire immortalization characteristic. After that, the end result established, When the cell acquired the capacity to invade and metastasis, and hence the cancer is developed. These steps of the carcinogenesis are accompanied by morphological changes, especially in the epithelial malignancies. There is no counterpart for the initiation phase, but the promotion phase is morphologically evident by hyperplasia of that environment or that cell group, and progression is characterized by dysplastic changes, while the tendency to metastasize and to invade locally is evident morphologically by the presence of carcinoma in situ characteristics. So this schema is showing the development of cancer by the carcinogen. When a carcinogen enters into the body, it is metabolically activated or detoxified and excreted by the kidney. The metabolically activated carcinogen result in formation of electrophilic intermediate. These electrophilic intermediates have got these are the electron deficient atoms, and these electron deficient atoms may be detoxified again and excreted through the kidney, or they got affection to the electron rich atoms in the cell, and they bind to the DNA and form adducts. When DNA adducts are formed, there is DNA repair and the normal cell is restored. Or if DNA cannot be repaired, it may result in cell death, or if it is not repaired but the injury persists, it leads to a permanent DNA lesion. Hence, it forms an initiated cell. This initiated cell will proliferate and result in altered differentiation of the cell. Resultantly, a pre-neoplastic clone of the alteredly differentiated cell is formed, which, when acquire additional mutation, proliferate further and develop into a malignant neoplasm. The International Agency for Research on Cancer (IARC) has listed 75 compounds as chemical carcinogens. Some of these are direct carcinogens while others are activated carcinogens. The direct carcinogens, they bind covalently to the cellular macromolecules, and examples are nitrogen mustard, bis-chloromethyl ether, benzyl chloride, and certain metals. The activated carcinogen are mostly the organic carcinogens, and they require enzymic conversion. The cellular systems are involved in the metabolism and detoxification of these carcinogens, such as the metabolism occur in the liver, and they are specific for some organ, but the mechanism for this organ specificity is not known. The major chemical carcinogen can be divided into two groups. One is the direct acting carcinogens, other is the procarcinogen that require activation for their action. The direct acting carcinogens are alkylating agent or acylating agents. The alkylating agents are beta propionolactone and dimethyl sulfate, diepoxybutane, and anti-cancer drugs such as cyclophosphamide, chlorambucil, nitrosourease, and others. While acylating agents are acetyl imidazole and dimethyl carbamyl chloride. The procarcinogen that require metabolic activation are divided into four groups, that are polycyclic and heterocyclic aromatic hydrocarbon, aromatic amine, amides and azides, the natural plants and microbial products, and other. The polycyclic and heterocyclic aromatic hydrocarbons are benzanthracene, benzopyrene, dibenzanthracene, 3-methylchloroanthene, and 7,12-dimethyl-benzanthracene. The aromatic amine, amide, and azides are 2-naphthylamine, benzidine, 2-acetyl-aminofluorine, dimethylamino-benzene, that is also termed as butter yellow. The natural plant and microbial products are aflatoxin B1, glycofulvin, cycacin, saffrol, and betel nuts. The others chemical carcinogens are nitrosamine and amides, vinyl chloride, nickel, chromium, insecticide, fungicides, and polychlorinated biphenyls. The indirect acting carcinogens, they require activation by metabolic conversion and result in ultimate carcinogen or mutagenesis. The cytochrome P450 dependent monooxygenases are the enzymes that are responsible for the metabolic conversion. The gene that encode these enzymes are polymorphic gene, and the activity and inducibility of these enzymes vary significantly among individuals. The susceptibility to the carcinogenesis is related in part to the particular polymorphic variant that an individual inherits. So it results in variation in metabolic pathway, and the ultimate carcinogen is formed that follows the process of initiation, and it got selective advantage by oncogenes such as RAS and TP53. It is now transformed, and then finally it is mutagenetic. The polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons are originally derived from coal tar, and the examples are benzopyrene, 3-methylcholanthene, and dibenzanthracene. The benzopyrene is an active component of soot, and this polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons have got a broad range of target organs and produce cancers at the site of application. The specific type of the cancer produced, it varies with the route of administration, and the cancers which are associated with this chemical, the polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, are tumors of skin, soft tissue, and breast. The aromatic hydrocarbons are identified in cigarette smoke. These chemicals are metabolized by cytochrome P450 dependent mixed nuclear function oxidases to electrophilic epoxide, which in turn react with nucleophilic compound in the cell such as protein and nucleic acid. The cytochrome P450 CYP1A1 is associated with 7-fold chances of lung cancer even in light smokers. The formation of epoxide depends on the presence of an unsaturated carbon-to-carbon bond. The example is vinyl chloride, which is a simple 2-carbon molecule from which the plastic polyvinyl chloride is synthesized. This polyvinyl chloride is metabolized to an epoxide, which is responsible for its carcinogenic properties, and exposure to vinyl chloride is linked with hepatic angiosarcomas. The alkylating agents are the agents that transfer alkyl groups such as methyl, ethyl and others to a macromolecule including guanine within the DNA, and they include many chemotherapeutic drugs such as cyclophosphamide, cisplatin and busulfan, and these drugs, when given, they not only destroy the cancer cell but also destroy the host normal cell, and the use of the alkylating chemotherapy carries a significant risk of solid and hematological malignancy at a later time. Aflatoxin produces p53 mutation. The aflatoxin B1 is the natural product of fungus Aspergillus flavus. This aflatoxin B1 is metabolized in the liver to an epoxide, and this epoxide binds covalently to the DNA. It is a potent liver carcinogen, and not only it produces tumor in men, but it also produces tumors in fish, birds, rodents and primates. The Aspergillus species are ubiquitous, and contamination of vegetable food are common, especially when exposed to warm and moist conditions. The common affected vegetables are peanuts and grains. In addition to hepatitis B and C, this aflatoxin-rich food may contribute to a high incidence of cancer of the liver in the parts of Africa and Asia. The aflatoxin B1 associated hepatocellular carcinoma tend to have a particular mutation in TP53. A GC to TA transversion in codon 249 that produces an arginine to serine substitution in the p53 protein. This substitution interferes with the function of the p53. TP53 mutations are infrequent in liver tumor from areas where aflatoxin contamination of food doesn't occur. The aromatic amines and azodyes are not carcinogenic at the point of their application. When they are fed to animal, they produce bladder tumor and liver tumor respectively. Both of these are metabolized in the liver, and they are converted into hydroxyl amino derivatives by anide hydroxylation. And these hydroxyl amino derivatives are conjugated with the glucuronic acid and hence detoxified. When they are hydrolyzed, these glucuronides are hydrolyzed in the bladder, there is release of reactive hydroxylamine in the bladder that develops bladder cancer. The aniline dye exposure is the occupational exposure that results in bladder cancer. Now, role of nitrosamines in the development of cancer. The nitrites are added as food preservative in the processed meat and other foods. It is thought that by the reaction or by the interaction with the other compound, they form nitrosamine. There is evidence of tobacco-specific nitrosamine also, and their role is still under scrutiny. The simplest form of the nitrosamine, the dimethyl nitrosamine, produces kidney and liver tumor in rodents and experimental studies, while in primates it is a potent carcinogen. It is also linked with gastrointestinal neoplasm in humans, and the definitive role is still studied, but the in Henan, China, there is 100 times more esophageal carcinoma, and that is linked with the increased dietary intake of the nitrosamine. These nitrosamine are activated by hydroxylation, that is followed formation of a reactive alkyl carbonium ion. The carcinogenicity by the metal, the mechanism is unknown. The divalent metal cations, nickel, lead, cadmium, cobalt, beryllium, all these are electrophilic and they react with the macromolecules which are electron rich and nucleophilic. In addition, the metal ion also react with guanine and phosphate group of DNA. Metal ions such as nickel can depolymerize polynucleotides, and some of the metals may bind to the purine and pyrimidine bases through covalent bonds or pi electron of their bases. All these reactions occur in vitro, and to what extent they occur in the body is not known. Most of the metal-induced cancer occur in occupational settings. While studying chemical carcinogenesis in animals, several factors are taken under consideration. These are the genetic aspects such as species and strain, age and sex of the animal, the diet taken, and the hormonal status also. The drug metabolizing system, whether it is present or not, and the presence or absence of tumor promoters are also taken under consideration. Same is true for the human, and all these factors are also taken under consideration while studying the carcinogenicity of a chemical in human. The most chemical are metabolized in the body, and some lead to the formation of procarcinogen that increase the possibility toward the development of tumor development, while some other they form inactive metabolite and then detoxified. They reduce the risk of the cancer. The effect of sex and hormonal status in context of the chemical carcinogenesis is established in animal, but there is no clear-cut association in humans. The diet composition can affect the level of drug metabolizing enzyme. A low protein diet reduces the hepatic activity of mixed function oxidase and is associated with decreased sensitivity to the hepatocarcinogenesis. And dimethyl nitrosamine are associated with a decreased incidence of liver tumor, and is also accompanied by increased incidence in the kidney tumor. This led to the point that various tissues of the body, they deal differently, and different metabolites are present in various tissues. The physical carcinogens are ultraviolet light, radiation, asbestos, and foreign bodies. The sunlight is associated with skin cancer, and these skin cancer can be squamous cell carcinoma, basal cell carcinoma, or melanoma. The cancer are more common in fair-skinned people on the exposed surfaces of the body, while the dark-skinned people are protected by the melanin, because melanin absorbs this damaging ultraviolet light. The ultraviolet light is located in the electromagnetic spectrum just adjacent to the
violet color, and the wavelength which is carcinogenic for this ultraviolet light is between 290 to 320 nanometer. It results in the formation of pyrimidine dimers within the DNA. These dimers can be formed within the thymine to thymine, within cytosine to cytosine, and between thymine and cytosine, which result in the formation of cyclobutane ring, and this cyclobutane ring, it distort the phosphodiester backbone of double helix in the region of each dimer. This distortion is repaired usually by nucleotide excision repair pathway, which, if it is not present or if it fails due to excessive damage, it is mutagenic and carcinogenic. The effect on the cell due to these carcinogenesis are enzyme inactivation, inhibition of the cell division, mutagenesis, cell death, and cancer. One of the lesion is xeroderma pigmentosa, and this xeroderma pigmentosa is an autosomal recessive disorder, and this autosomal recessive disorder is due to ineffective nucleotide excision repair pathway, and it is associated with skin cancers due to various due to ineffective this nucleotide excision repair pathway.
Another physical agent for carcinogenesis is ionizing radiation. Both the electromagnetic and particulate radiations are carcinogenic. The electromagnetic types are X-ray and gamma rays, while particulate radiations include alpha particles, beta particles, and protons and neutrons. This is supported by evidence that many individuals pioneering the use of X-ray developed skin cancer. Miners of radioactive elements in the Central Europe and Rocky Mountain region of the US have a tenfold increase of lung cancer, and survivor of atom bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Initially, they show increase in leukemia after an average latent period of about 7 years. Subsequently, incidence of many solid tumors with longer latent periods such as carcinoma of the breast, colon, thyroid, and lung increased. The use of computed tomography scans is also associated with increased risk of leukemia. In the children who get 2 or 3 CT scan have a threefold higher risk of leukemia, while the children who receive 5 to 10 CT scan have a 3 times higher risk for brain tumors. The overall risk in children is very low, roughly 1 excess leukemia and 1 excess brain tumor over 10 years per 10,000 CT scan. The ionizing radiation is associated with oncogenesis or carcinogenesis, and there is also tissue vulnerability to this radiation-induced cancer. But the reason for this tissue vulnerability are unknown. Most frequently, the myeloid leukemias, which are the tumors of granulocyte and their precursors, and cancer of the thyroid in young patients are seen. The intermediate category of these ionizing radiation induced cancers are cancer of the breast, lung, and salivary gland, while skin, bone, and GIT are resistant to ionizing radiation induced cancers. The asbestos causes mesothelioma, but it is not established that should it be included in the chemical carcinogenic group or in the physical carcinogenic group, as it is a mineral that usually used in construction, insulation, and manufacturing, and it is a family of closely related fibrous silicates. They occur in two forms, serpentine and amphiboles. The example of serpentine is chrysotile, and they occur as flexible fibers, while the amphibole they occur as firm narrow rods, and the examples are crocidolite and amosite. The pleura and peritoneal cavities, both malignant mesothelioma, can occur due to exposure to asbestos, and these tumors are rare in general population. Only 2 to 3% are reported, and the latent period for the development is about 20 years, which can go up to 40 years. The pathogenetic mechanism is obscure, while the smoker with who are exposed to the asbestos may develop CA lung. A slight increase in the prevalence of lung cancer has been reported in non-smokers exposed to the asbestos. Another cause of physical carcinogenesis is foreign body. The implantation of inert material induces sarcoma in certain experimental animals. The humans are resistant to foreign body carcinogenesis, as is evident by lack of cancer following the implantation in most of the cases. A few report of the cancers that develop in the vicinity of the foreign body is it probably reflects the formation of the scar, which in some organs seems to be associated with increased incidence of the cancer, such as the development of fibrosarcoma after the hip implant in very negligible number of the cases. The trauma has no evidence or no relation to the cancer. Scientists have been trying to link the diet with the cancer development since ages. The beneficial effect of diet on cancer risk are limited and are controversial. Despite the claim by the epidemiologist that one-third of the cancer could be prevented by changes in diet. Dietary fat, meat, and fiber play a role. The animal fat increases the risk of breast carcinoma. The red meat intake increases the risk of colon carcinoma and prostate carcinoma, while the dietary fiber intake decreases the chances of colonic carcinoma. The folate rich diets are also associated with the decreased risk of colon carcinoma, while fruit and vegetables are associated with decreased risk for cancer. The physical activity is associated with decreased breast and colonic carcinoma, and obesity is associated with increased esophageal, endometrial, and kidney tumors. This table is showing the association of some etiologic agent and chronic condition with the development of the neoplasm. The asbestos, fiber, silica particles, they are associated with mesothelioma and lung carcinoma, while inflammatory bowel disease, that is a chronic condition involving the bowel, is associated with colorectal carcinoma. The lichen sclerosis is a chronic condition of the skin that is associated with vulvar squamous cell carcinoma. The pancreatitis, chronic inflammation of the pancreas, is also related with pancreatic carcinoma, and the etiological agents are alcoholism, germline mutation, and chronic cholecystitis is also associated with gallbladder cancer, and the bile acid, bacteria, and gallstones have been implicated in the development of these chronic cholecystitis. The gastric acids they they produce reflux esophagitis and Barrett's esophagus. This Barrett's esophagus can be a fertile soil for the development of esophageal carcinoma. Sjogren syndrome and Hashimoto thyroiditis, which have got autoimmune etiology, they are also associated with marred lymphoma or mucosa-associated lymphoid tissue lymphomas. Similarly, liver flukes, which are opisthosis viverani, are associated with cholangiocarcinoma and colon carcinoma, and the pathologic condition is termed as opisthosis cholangitis. Helicobacter pylori, they are associated with gastritis and gastric ulcer, and they produce adenocarcinoma and marred lymphoma within the stomach. Then the hepatitis B and hepatitis C viruses are associated with hepatocellular carcinoma as they produce hepatitis. Osteomyelitis, which is the infection of bone and its marrow, and it's a bacterial infection of that area. It is associated with development of carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma within the draining sinuses, as this condition form multiple draining sinuses through which the various component from the bone abscess, they come outside or they communicate outside world. Chronic cervicitis is associated with human papilloma virus or HPV, and it has been implicated or associated with the cervical carcinomas. Schistosomiasis has been associated with chronic cystitis, and the associated neoplasm is bladder carcinoma. This table is from Robbins' textbook of pathology 10th edition, and it is showing that the occupational cancers are associated with some typical agents, and it is also relating the type of the cancer which is associated with that particular agent. Arsenic and its compound are there as a byproduct of metal smelting. Component of alloy, they are electrical and semiconductor device component also, and they are used in medication and herbicides and fungicides and animal take. They are associated with lung cancers and skin cancers. Asbestos, formerly used for many applications because of fire, heat and friction resistance, and it is still found in existing construction as well as fire resistant textile friction material such as brake lining, underlayment and roof papers and floor tiles. This asbestos is implicated with lung, esophageal, gastric, colon carcinoma and mesotheliomas. The benzene, which is the principal component of light oil, despite known risk, many applications exist in printing and lithography, paint, rubber, dry cleaning, adhesive and coating, and detergent. Formerly, this benzene was used widely as a solvent and fumigant. This benzene is associated with acute myeloid leukemia. Beryllium and beryllium compounds are the component of the missile fuel and space vehicles. They are hardener for lightweight metal alloy, and particularly in aerospace application and nuclear reactor, they are used. They are associated with lung carcinomas. Cadmium and its compound are used. Its use are yellow pigments and phosphorus. They are found in solders and used in batteries and as alloys and metal plating and coating. and these are associated with prostate carcinomas. Chromium compound are component of metal alloy, paint, pigments, and preservatives, and they have been linked with lung carcinomas. Nickel compounds are used and present as nickel plating, components of ferrous alloys, ceramics, and batteries, and they are also byproducts of stainless steel arc welding. They have been associated with lung and oropharyngeal carcinomas. The radon and its decay products are these are from the decay of mineral containing uranium and potentially serious hazard in quarries and underground mines, and these have been associated with lung cancers. Vinyl chloride, which is present in refrigerant, and this is basically monomer of vinyl polymer, and it is also present in adhesives for plastic, formerly inert aerosol propellant in pressurized container, and it is associated with hepatic angiosarcoma.